Hi, everyone. I'm Dr. Laurie Davis, and you're listening to the Dr. Laurie Davis Show. And today, Wellness Wednesday, we dedicate Wednesday to talking about all aspects of wellness. And my guest, Cathy Fillion, was having a few technology challenges, so she may try to join us in a little bit. But in the meantime, welcome to the show. And of course, I can talk all day long about anything. So, wellness is a big, huge part of what we do, what I do in helping people to be more productive, have a more happy lifestyle, you name it. And so, I'm just really excited to be here with you for Wellness Wednesday, and I see Cathy's back, so let's see how we go here. I already explained to the viewers, Cathy, that we may have a little challenge, but let's see how things are going
Okay.
right now. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah. Can
I
you
can
hear
hear
me?
you too. Yes, and I can see you. Awesome. That seems to be better. I don't know what you did.
Awesome. I can see you too.
Great. So I was
I don't know
just
what I
saying,
did either. So,
okay, well, as long as it works, we don't care. So today we're going to talk about different aspects of wellness, and something that
mhm.
I pulled out, Cathy, to be, addressing today too, was for our wellness broadcast is my famous, what I call medicine wheel. And of course, this comes directly from our indigenous culture. And so there is the medicine wheel represents all areas where we need to be well. So body, mind, mentally, spiritually, and emotionally. So when we have that all kind of working together, that's when we feel really healthy. And so we're going to talk about that today. So, Cathy, over to you. What do you know about why it is so important right now for us as moms and grandmoms to stay wealthy and healthy? Oh, did you hear that little slip? Wealthy and healthy,
To stay wealthy or healthy?
both.
I
But
think
let's go with
it's
the health
very
right now.
important.
Hmm.
You want to see your your kids. You want to remain healthy. Just watch your kids grow up, watch your grandkids grow up. But overall, I think you just need a healthy mind and body, and in order to function properly in the world. You don't want to
Hmm.
feel sluggish and horrible the whole time, right? You want to get up there and
Yes. We have a colleague,
be able
Dr. Susie.
to maybe not run a marathon, but
Hmm.
maybe a 5K.
Well, there you
You just want
go.
to keep yourself emotionally.
Hmm. And I believe it would be safe to say that you've been challenged in all of those areas. Would that be safe to say that you've been challenged in all of those areas?
Yes, I have been. I've been very challenged in all those areas, actually. Um, Definitely over the last few years, it's been rough. I've
Hmm.
overcome a lot. I've grown. I've moved forward from the death of my son.
Hmm.
That was a choice that I made, and I do strongly believe it has to be a choice that you make to move forward. And I think that is a very healthy choice for me. Um, my dogs are going crazy over something, I don't know, but yeah, and I've come a long way since then. I have decided to quit my job and go and work with Laurie. Um, I just think it's overall better for my health, because I think if you're getting sick when you think about having to go to work, it's probably not healthy for you to be doing that. It's too stressful. And I think you need to make them decisions that, okay, like my stomach would hurt, I would get a headache, and I would get anxiety just knowing that I had to go to my job. And it wasn't always
Wow.
like that. It was just the past year. So I think people need to listen to their bodies. You need to listen to what it's telling you. It's very important. It will give you signs, and it'll let you know that it's overstressed. And I think that was my problem. I was a little overstressed. I was uneasy. I had major anxiety, which I've never really had anxiety before. So I wasn't sure. I would have panic attacks. And I didn't even go through them emotions after my son passed away. Um, I didn't have anxiety. I had stress, but I had more stress the whole time dealing with him and looking after him, because it was very painful to see him in certain situations, because he was very lively and he loved life to the fullest. So you need to listen to your body, and I think that is one of the main things. And you need to start with like a healthy body and a healthy mind. And my computer has died. Yeah, so
You're there. I
that
see you.
is one of my a couple of my challenges.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm here.
Well, I still see you and I still hear you, so not sure what your computer's telling you.
No,
Mm-hmm. So
I
let's
just had to
talk.
plug it in. It was saying low battery.
Oh, okay. So
So I
let's
plugged it in.
talk.
It's all good to go.
Okay, good. So let's talk about why this is important, not just for us, but why this would be important for us to teach this to our children. And a lot of times our kids don't understand that they need to be balanced body, mind, spirit, emotions. Cathy, as a parent and a grandma, what do you think would be the benefits of us teaching this to our children and to our grandchildren?
I think there's quite a few benefits, actually. Um, you want your children to thrive in life. You want them to be able to move forward and to do what they want and to believe in themselves. And I think it's very important that they have balance in their lives, because without balance, you might be strong you might be physically healthy, but mentally, if you're not healthy, it really doesn't matter how physically healthy you are, or emotionally. All of these, they have to bound together to create a whole. And I
Right.
think you really do need to have your children believe in themselves and really teach that. And so they have strong minds, and then they're like, okay, I want to be a brain surgeon, and they can go off and do that. You want them emotionally strong so they can handle things in the world, because let's face it, we do have a lot of kickbacks in the world sometimes. Sometimes life is going to throw you a fastball and you're not going to know what to do with it. And I think if you are healthy in all four, it's balanced, and I think you're going to be able to deal with it a little bit better than you would if you weren't balanced. So I think it's very
Absolutely.
important, and I do encourage people to work with their kids and really make them understand this.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the younger you start, the better. Like, I've already been starting with my grandson, and he's 19 months old. But you know what? He's gonna be strong.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well, I have a particularly nice story around that. Many years ago, I was working in an indigenous community on the East Coast, Elsipogtog. At the time, it was called Big Cove. And I was working in there, and I took our core empowerment program in there because that's all we had at the time. We only had that one product. And so I had like an elders group, I had a men's group, I had a single moms group, and we'd meet once a week. I drove up once a week. And anyway, I had a client, her name was Lillian Francis, and she was an elder in the community. And she was the person who supported me the most in learning about the culture. And so this one day we were in our workshop space, and she came in a little early. And so while she was with me, just by ourselves, I said, Lillian, I don't understand why you come to the classes. You're 82. You're not going to make any changes right now. So what are you doing? And then she got very firm with me and she said, and this is not to mock or make fun, but in that community, nobody ever lost their language. And so their native tongue was their first language, English was their second. And so the accent was quite thick. So this is how she spoke. And I said, Lillian, like, what are you doing? And she said, you don't get it, Laurie. And I said, no, maybe not. She said, today I teach you what is an elder. I said, oh, and this goes along with what you just shared, Cathy. She said, what is an elder? She said, today I teach you what is an elder. And I listened to her because she didn't pull any punches. And so I said, okay. Well, she said, here's what happens. I come to your workshop on Wednesday morning. And she never had missed a session. And then on Wednesday afternoon, my grandchildren, all 14 of them in the school, they have an appointment with me. And they have to come to my home at 4:00. And nobody is allowed to miss. And I said, okay. She said, when I leave here, I'm going home. I'll make 2 big pans of cookies and I'll buy a gallon of milk at the store. And while they are having their milk and cookies on the floor, I teach them what I learn in your workshop. I started to cry.
That's awesome.
I know. She said, because that is what us as grandparents are supposed to be doing. As elders, we teach and pass on good information to our children and our grandchildren. That is our job. Well, I had a huge lesson that day, right? So what I would like to focus on for a few minutes is just how important it is to teach our children that they have to be balanced. They can't be all about being intellectual and making 100 on every test, and then the next thing you know, you find them in their room wanting to slash their wrists. Like, this is not balance, is it? So we need to teach our children how to be balanced, right? Because we are the grandparents.
Very important
now,
to do that.
right? Mm-hmm. So let's talk a little bit about your grandson. He had a little setback this past week.
He did. He
so let's talk about
spilled a hot cup of tea all over him. Pardon me?
Go ahead.
He spilled a hot cup of tea all over his shoulder and his chest and his tummy. But it is healing really, really good. Now Tanis is faced with the challenge of him being scared of the water. So he's terrified of the water right now. It's a big chore to get him in the tub and stuff because he has that fear now. So, she needs to really work with him to get him over that fear, because he emotionally and he's terrified of the water. So we just need to figure out a way to get him used to it, because he always loved water. He loves to swim, and a cloth to him. He panics and has a little bit of a setback. But Tanis is working with him. Like, she's slowly starting, like she's just putting his feet, like she'll sit him on the side of the tub and he'll kick his feet in the water. And then, she'll take a cloth and kind of wash his legs. And, she's slowly introducing him back into that tub. So we're hoping he's going to get over that fear, because she's swim lessons. So.
Yeah. And see, that's what I'm talking about.
But it's crazy how, our mind always reminds us of the accident.
Yes. Because when we have something physical happen, it affects our emotions. And we'll always make that connection. My mom was nearly drowned one time, and she actually taught us all how to be afraid of the water. And we weren't allowed to go swimming, and we weren't allowed to be in the lake. And, instead of teaching us all how to swim, which we probably should have learned, you see how that stuff transfers down. So he's had a trauma. And if your daughter addresses that properly right now, instead of pretending it never happened, like some people do, then he can recover from that, But it's when trauma happens and then nobody pays attention, or nobody, uh, okay, you never have to have a bath the rest of your life, right? They enable it. So, yeah, so I'm glad to
That would
hear
be
that
kind
he's
of.
doing better. Yeah, totally. All right.
Yeah, he's
So
doing a lot better. His scars seem to be healing pretty good. So
that's good. That's good. Yeah, he'll survive and everything, but it's just, to address the fact that he was traumatized. And that's often more difficult to address than the physical stuff, right? You break an arm, you go get a cast. You've got a broken heart, what are they going to do with that? Right?
yeah.
Cool. Yeah. So if you're just joining us, we're doing Wellness Wednesday. My
That's
guest
totally
today.
different. That's a different show.
Yes. So we're just, if you're just joining us, you're listening to the Dr. Laurie Davis Show, and my guest today is Cathy Fillion. And Cathy's always anxious to step in and get some experience and share with us her information and knowledge about how she is managing to maintain her wellness after tragedy, trauma, and the birth of a grandson, and husband who works away, and. So I do have inside information. I'm kind of sorry about that, but that's the way it is. So over to you, Cathy. Let's talk a little bit about your product line that you have embraced to support your wellness journey. For those of our listeners who maybe don't have any idea about this company or this product. So let's talk about what you've just recently done to continue your wellness journey.
Well, I just started a product called Isogenics. I've done my research. I've used the product, and I really stand by it. It has all the vitamins and nutrients that your body needs, and it even has the nutrients that your brain needs. So it will help detox your body. There's a cleanse that you can do, and then there's shakes. We do have hair products and facial products. I haven't used the hair and facial products as of yet personally, but I've heard a lot of positive feedback about them. And I would recommend that you start some kind of a cleanse. I do recommend that you cleanse at least once a month, because it just helps, because we all get toxins in our body, whether we're breathing them in or if we're eating them. We all kind of stray a little bit, very healthy, and get everything in there that isn't, get everything out that isn't supposed to be in there. So I would highly recommend it. If anybody is interested in isogenics, you can always go on the very usual. Always get a hold of me. I'm on there as well. So if you have any questions, and it's amazing.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, I've heard.
And we even have these new little energy shots that have no extra crap in them, like White Bull or Red Bull, whatever that's called, or Monsters, or
like those energy
and
drinks.
it's not
right?
it's not like your regular energy drinks where you kind of like drink it and then you crash. You don't crash from these ones. The energy is slowly released throughout the whole day, and I've been sleeping a little bit better on it. I feel energetic and healthy, and
Cool. And we know there are a lot of good products out there, so we recommend that if you do your research, do your research.
Are you still there, Laurie?
I'm still here. I'm still here. I'm still here. So what we're saying is there's lots of good products out there.
Pardon me?
There are lots of good products out there. And so
Okay.
what we recommend is that you do your research. And research is so easy to do today. You just have to Google it, and there will be all the good, the bad, and the ugly about it. So it's really important to do our research. But like Cathy, when something really works for us, we are really wanting to share that information because we want other people to feel better and to do, our whole game here is about wellness. Our vision statement is world well-being, emotionally, spiritually, physically, mentally. And so whatever we can access to help us do that is really important. Right, Cathy?
Oh God, it is. It's very important. Um, you can. I think you really should take your health into mind. I really do think you should balance everything, and because if you show that you're balancing, it's also a reflect to other people as well. They're like, "Oh my God, you look like you're doing so good. You look happy. You look refreshed," and everybody wants to hear that, right? Like you want to feel that too. Like you can put makeup on and make yourself look, gorgeous. But if you don't feel that on the inside, then you're really not doing much for your own health. So I make
Exactly.
like research, research. Like there's a product out there for everybody.
Mm-hmm. Yes. And so our whole game is it's not a game, it's fact that when you work on your insides and you're working on your outsides and you're working on your spirit and your mind, body, spirit, when you're working on those things, the beauty shows out through it in a different way. You don't have to apply the beauty comes out. What do you know about that, Cathy? The beauty comes out. Are you there? It seems to be a little delay again.
Yeah, there seems to be a little bit of a delay, but yes, I'm still here. You're
Okay.
kind of buffering out a little bit too, Laurie.
Okay. And that's your internet dropping. Okay, that's your internet.
I think so.
So,
Yeah.
yeah. So we're just talking about it's Wellness Wednesday. We're just talking about all aspects of wellness today. We're just having a conversation. We know that it's really important to be healthy in all areas. Some people might focus, let's say they decide, oh gosh, I I need to lose weight, I need to get in shape, and this is the only thing they work on. Well, what about the rest of me? Because I'm not just a body. I'm a mind, I'm a spirit, and I have feelings. So sometimes people get really focused on just one, and then that leaves the others out the door, so to speak. So we advocate that
Yes.
you're working on all four at the same time. And why is that important,
I think it's
Cathy?
important to work on all 4.
Mm-hmm.
I think you need to be healthy in every aspect and only be healthy in one.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, for sure. For sure, for sure. All right. So what are some things you've done to get better? Let's talk physical first. What are some things
You
you've done to get better
need to change
physically?
your mindset too. Like if you 4,
Mm-hmm.
way better results.
Yeah. So let's talk about what things we've done, you and I, to get better physically. What are some things we've done?
Okay, I missed that, Laurie.
What are some things we've done to get better physically? What are some things you've done? What are some things I've done to get better physically?
To get better physically, I've gone to the gym. I have changed my diet mostly. And I like to go for walks and, do physical activity. Like it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can just go for a walk every day.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what I've done. I've decided, when the
To
weather
start.
got
What have
good,
you?
yeah. So when the weather got good, I I walk every day now. I take the dog and I go around that big park outside my yard there. Make sure I'm drinking my water. Mm, mm, mm. Getting to bed at night by 10 o'clock, not 11 or 12 or 1. Making sure I eat properly. I have good home cooked food. I don't order out much and I don't eat out much anymore because I want to know what I'm eating. So we don't do a lot of takeout and that sort of thing. Because again, that's back to the toxins, right? Um, yeah, so getting my rest, getting my exercise, eating properly, and getting my water in there. And I do take a liquid vitamin C every day. It's 8 ounces of water with a powder. And when I drink that, I'm adding vitamin C to my body. But I'm also adding other things like antioxidants, immune builders, electrolytes, and making sure that, that takes really good care of your skin as well. So that's really important. Vitamin C is really important for your skin. And so I've always done that. Vitamin C. I have a hard time swallowing pills. So I don't take any medication, of course, but even to swallow a vitamin pill is a challenge for me. So I've gone to years ago, converted to liquid vitamins that I can actually drink. So I do that every day. All right, welcome back, Cathy. Let's talk about what have we done to heal ourselves emotionally. What are some things you've done? You had a huge hit when you lost your son, and I'm sure there were lots of emotions going on after that. So what are some things you've done to heal yourself emotionally? Did you hear that?
No, Laurie, we're buffering out.
Okay.
Maybe I'll let you finish the show on your own, and then
Mm-hmm.
maybe I'll switch internet providers, and we'll try this again next week.
Okay. Sounds good. You can stay there if you
Okay.
like. You can stay on the screen, and I'll just talk. But the next piece is, and if there's an opportunity for you to jump in, then let's do that. But I don't want you to go
Okay.
anywhere. Okay. So the next area is, I think we all know how to take care of our body. There's lots of information, there's lots of good products, there's lots of ways to take care of our body. And I have an idea that we're all pretty good at that. We know what to do, but the challenge is doing it and not making it happen or not turning it into an action. So it's like when we make those New Year's resolutions and we say, oh, this year I'm going to lose 50 pounds, but we don't do anything about it. So the challenge for people is not about not knowing what to do. We all know what to do. The challenge is being motivated and staying consistent. And the best solution for me was to take little baby steps, so much a day. Like I've lost 30 pounds in the last 2 years. It was slow, but at least it's 30 pounds. I'm picturing 30 pounds of butter on the kitchen counter and thinking, I lost all that fat. So it's baby steps, baby steps. And 30 pounds of butter is better than none, right? So, or if you carry around a 10-pound bag of potatoes, you know that that's 10 pounds you might be walking around with that you could get rid of, that would be less taxing, less fatiguing. Um, the next part of wellness is this mindset. And Cathy mentioned that earlier. Mindset. And the mind, when you decide something and you take action on it, things happen. Cathy, are you available to say anything about that? Because I saw you shaking your head there.
Yes, I think
Mindset.
if I think if you have a strong mind, I do believe you can accomplish anything. But if your goal is to lose weight, but you haven't changed your mindset, you're really not going to achieve your goals. You need to, be on the same track as your body. Because if you say, "Oh, I'm going to lose 10 pounds," and then you haven't changed anything about your diet or physical activity or anything like that, then it's really not going to change. You really do need to change your mindset.
Okay. You can mute yourself, Cathy. Why don't you do that? Can you mute yourself?
Yes.
Okay. Then we won't hear the puppies when they decide to bark. Okay. All right. Well, in terms of mindset, we all grew up with conditioning and programming. And so, some of those old tapes are still playing. And some of the tapes that our parents planted in there or our environment. And we have to decide, is this tape still supporting me? And if it's not, as adults, we need to let it go. So our mental health, and right now there's so much going on that's impacting people and their mental health. Even COVID affected our mental health, how we thought about things. And so this up here controls, it's like your control panel, and it gets to control a lot of what we think. Did you know that people process 60,000 thoughts a day? Wow, 60,000 thoughts a day? Really? Boy, we're brilliant, I'd say. But some of those thoughts support us, and some of those thoughts do not support us. So I've been working very hard on getting those thoughts that don't support me out of my way. So, what would be an example of that? Well, maybe a thought I have that's not supporting me is, oh, I've only lost 30 pounds in 2 years. I should have lost 50. And so the mind goes, yeah, nothing was good enough, you see, and it's playing on there that whatever I do is never good enough. And that's an old childhood tape of mine. I have to be very careful of that. So we have to train our brain. We might even have to um, download it and then rebuild it because we have lots of things that don't support us. Is somebody home, Cathy? Somebody just come home?
Yes, Arlen just came home.
I figured that.
That's why the
I
dogs were
knew
going crazy.
I knew that. That's awesome. I'm glad he's home safe.
Mhm.
All right. Okay. Well, so the next area is anything else to say, Cathy, about mindset? When you decided that you had to get past losing your boy, that was a decision, and then you made some changes. Am I correct?
Yes. Um, that was my choice to move forward. I needed to do that for myself more than anything, but I did need to do it for my family as well. I found myself getting into a dark place where I didn't really want to do anything. And then I just kind of woke up one day and said, "Oh my God, look, I can't keep doing this. I need to move forward and I need to not only respect myself, but respect his wishes as well, because he wouldn't want me laying around doing nothing. And I had a family that needed me at the time as well. So it was my choice to move forward. And I
Right
feel
on.
good with my choice.
Good. And that's called mindset. See, decisions. Okay, the other area where we need to get well is in our spirit, because a lot of people think that spirituality is about going to church or having a religion or a belief system that supports them spiritually. So for some people, it's about nature, and for some people, it's about God. And for some people, it's about traditions and ceremonies, rituals. And so, where are we spiritually? Are we a spirit having a human experience? Or are we a human having a spiritual experience? We have to think about that. So, being spiritually healthy is getting clear on beliefs that you'd like to hold. So, do I want to believe in heaven or not? Do I want to believe that we go somewhere to the spirit world, or do I come back as being reincarnated? Everybody has their own system of spirituality and what they choose to believe in. So, and that's really very a very good thing. I think when it gets really edgy is when people try to impose their spiritual beliefs on us. We all are entitled to believe what we choose, and then other people want to try and convince us that we're wrong, or only a certain religion is going to heaven, and all this kind of stuff. So, Cathy, what do you know about that as far as being spiritually well?
Spiritually, I don't think anybody's wrong. You believe in what you believe in. And to me, being spiritual is actually connecting my mind and my spirit together and my emotions. It doesn't really matter what anybody believes in, but I do think it's strong to work as one and just stick to your guns. Like, I don't really think anybody should try to change anybody's mind. I believe spiritually. It's not that I believe in a higher power. I believe myself as a higher power. I I control my destiny, and I really do strongly believe that. And I know other people don't. They think that, things happen for a reason. But I do honestly believe that I control my own destiny. I can go down one path and realize it's the wrong path, and I can take another path. And anybody in the world can do that. Nobody can make your decisions for you. You have to make your own decisions. And I do
Mhm.
respect everybody's spiritual beliefs. I really do. Um, just mine are, I believe in my own fate and my own destiny. I create it for myself, whether it's good or bad.
Mhm. I just shared with one of my clients that I used to believe that everything happened for a reason. I used to believe that actually. But now I believe that everything happens because of decisions and choices we've made. Um, and as far as some people believe that God has a plan for their life from the day they get here, and that's okay if people want to choose to believe that. But what I've come to know is it's not God that's planning my life, it's me. And if it's in my best interest, God will support it. And the universe will support it as long as it's in my best interest. So, God, the universe, the creator, they all get to play a part in my life, but maybe not in the religious way that I was taught, that God has a plan for you. No, I think we're given the gifts we need to create our own plan. And then when it's in our best interest, God will support that. So, all right. So it's kind of cool to get really clear on where you are spiritually, because spiritually, there's a lot of power in that, and to be able to connect to that. All right, and the last one in the medicine wheel that we'll talk about today, so being healthy in our body, being healthy in our mind, our spirit, and then the last one is being emotionally well. What does that mean, to be emotionally healthy? What does that mean even? Well, it's about being
Well, Laurie, I
stable.
think when you're emotionally healthy, you deal with things.
Okay.
Like you're strong, and you know, you can deal with life better. I do believe that if you're an emotionally strong person, you're not afraid to be like, okay, I'm sad today, or I'm happy today. You're not afraid to show that, and I think that's very healthy because you're not keeping everything balled up inside you, because that's not healthy. So I think emotionally you need to be available, and you need to open up emotionally, and I think it's very healthy. It's good to
Absolutely.
cry. Like, don't be afraid to cry once in a while. Let her
Right.
out.
Right on. Well, I had a client one time. She had just lost her best friend to cancer and couldn't even cry about it. And she hadn't shed a tear about anybody in 27 years. So this whole thing about, big boys don't cry. Well, sometimes big women don't cry either. Right. So Cathy said something very important there, to be able to recognize when we're feeling sad, express that. If we're feeling excited, express that. If we're feeling angry, express that. And learning how to express our feelings is extremely important. And that's what helps us to heal and deal. But I grew up in a generation where you were not allowed to express your feelings. If we got angry, we might be told, oh, it's not okay for little girls to get angry. And then Christmas morning, you might wake up and you're all excited because there's gifts and a turkey dinner. And then somebody says to you, well, just calm down. So, when you're not allowed to be angry, and you're not allowed to be excited, and you're not allowed to be depressed, and you're not allowed to be hurt, then we grow up and we don't know how to express that. And that's very unhealthy. I know Cathy was hearing us because I saw her head going up and down. So what do you know about that, Cathy? Expressing your feelings. What was it like for you?
Well, I think I I was pretty much the same growing up. You know, there was a certain way you were supposed to act at a certain time. People expected you to get over things really fast. And it wasn't very healthy. And it took me a long time to tap into my emotions, actually. Sometimes you're afraid to show your true emotions because you're so used to being told not to show it. Like you said, Laurie, like if you're excited, calm down. If you're sad, well, suck it up and get over it, kind of thing, right? And I think a lot of people have grown up to them situations, but it is very unhealthy not to let your emotions out.
Mm-hmm. Totally. I shared with my client this week. I said, you want to see depressed? I know how to be depressed. If I'm having a bad day, I choose not to get out of bed. I choose to get a hot water bottle. I choose to get a cup of tea, and I choose to be down for the count. But there's a time limit, 24 hours. After the 24 hours, and I've had my little pity party, then it's time for me to jump up and face the world again. It's okay to be down, but it's not okay to stay down, right? It's okay for other
Very true.
people to give up on you, but it's not okay for you to give up on you. See, whatever you need to be in any given moment is okay, but not for years or decades, right? Right? You know, you have
Right.
somebody that had a
It's
little bump
definitely,
in the, yeah, yeah. Go ahead.
because we all have them days.
Oh, you can count on it.
Mhm.
But you need to greet that day with the same. I mean, I don't do anything halfway. So if I'm going to be depressed, I'm going to do the whole 9 yards. I'm going to cry. I'm going to stay in bed. I'm not going to talk to anybody. And I'm going to be really feeling sorry for myself and wham, wham, wham. And then I'm over it. It's okay. You can't be up there all the time. You can't stay up there for all the time because life happens. And we get hurt, right? People are messing with us, and like you said the other day in a workshop, you said people telling you how you should be, how you should act. You should still be grieving. Well, who made up that rule?
Mm-hmm.
That's somebody else's rule, and you chose not to buy in.
No.
And that makes you emotionally healthy. Because as we're trying to climb out of the
Yep.
depression or the sadness or whatever, people are there with their
And
two
the thing
hands
is, everybody has
around.
to come to these conclusions on their own.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
And while you're crawling out,
Yeah, they're trying
somebody's grabbing
to
you by
drag
the
you
ankle,
down, and you have to choose not to let them.
bring you
Mm-hmm.
right back
They're
down.
pull you
Mhm.
back down.
Pull you back down into that huge pitfall. Right on. All right. Well, Cathy, anything else we need to share about wellness today? Wellness Wednesday. Anything else that you have to say about that? And then I'm going to make a few announcements, and we'll be done.
Okay. The only thing I have to really say is stay strong and true to yourselves. Do what's right for you, not what's right for everybody else, because that's a step of being very healthy as well.
Right on. Okay. All right. Well, I have a few announcements to make. And one of them is, where is it? Do you have a story to tell? Do you have a story that needs to be told and you need a vehicle to do that? Well, then please just call me. This is my show line, 780-909-8571. You can contact me directly and let's set it up so that you can come on here and tell your story, just like Cathy's been here today telling pieces of her story. In September, we're launching a program called 100 Shades of Prosperity. And this is 100 workshops in the area of finance, particularly. And we're going to start up in September. And if you'd like more information about that, you can do the same thing by calling me at our number. And this is a really powerful process for people who would like to learn how to become their own best investors, maintain your own portfolios, all kinds of things. And we have the expert to help us with that. If you want to talk to Cathy, here's a great way to get in touch with her. Just email her at tannisfillion@hotmail.com. And maybe there's something you'd like to ask her about her grieving process, losing her boy, some of the things that she's talked about today. So feel free to do that. And let's see, is there anything else that we want to share today? I think that's pretty much it. And we'll be back tomorrow with the beautiful Kay Sheffield. And Kay and I recently were featured in a compilation book called It's About Showing Up and the Power is in the Asking. And we're going to share our stories from that book about, I called my chapter, It Takes Guts to Leave the Ruts. And that's what my chapter is about. And I share stories from my youth, actually, of when I showed up and asked for something. And my highlight story is about when I was 21 and I wanted to buy my first home in 1972. Women were not able to get a mortgage. without your husband's, well, you couldn't get it. Even with your husband's income, the women's income was not considered at all. Imagine, that wasn't that long ago if you think about it. And I went down to the mortgage company and I told them that is not happening because I actually make more money than my husband, and we need to be using my income to get that mortgage. And by the time I was done there, they actually agreed to consider half the female's income. They changed their policy because I knocked on that door. Knock. I said, this is nuts. This is not even acceptable. And eventually, women's salaries were included in getting a mortgage. And now, of course, a woman can get a mortgage all by herself. So, but when I wanted to buy my first home, nothing that I earned was going to be added to the factor. So we've got some stories to tell, and I'll be joined by Kay tomorrow, and we're going to share some stories. And she has some pretty fantastic stories left in the 70s as a single mom, and what she had to do to get past all that. So we all have stories. So if you have a story, I'm going to say it one more time. If you have a story, do you have a story to tell? Then please contact me so we can get you on the show and talk about the story. All right. Anything else, Cathy, we need to say before we go? Thank you for being here. Appreciate you and helping me with our Wellness Wednesday today. Anything else you'd like to say?
Thank you for having me, Laurie. No, just thank you for having me, and everybody have a wonderful day. We'll talk to you guys later.
You bet. Okay. You've been listening to the Dr. Laurie Davis Show with my guest, Cathy Fillion, and we'll talk to you all very soon. Bye for now.